So here I am today reflecting on this week and how things went during lab. I think it went really well. This was our last week working with acute care, and I was in the hospital on Monday, and of course, I learned a lot. I saw a lot. I'm still actually reflecting on everything that I witnessed and, you know, um, trying to process that information. But I did go to lab on Wednesday. And so on Wednesday, what I was thinking about in lab was how, if we are in an acute care facility, um, how having fluid intelligence matters and how important it is to be flexible and amendable to things, and to know that there's not just one right way to do things, that there are many ways to do things and get things done. I was reflecting on how Lisa was trying to get Sam towards the door and through the door, with Sam walking, using her rolling walker, and just reflecting on how, you know, Lisa was just really taking it step by step by step and just really trying her best to work through the situation while keeping, of course, her patient safe, herself safe, keeping her body mechanics in order, and maneuvering 3 items, especially keeping her hand on that gait belt on her client the entire time. So I think that if I was to ever put myself in a position to where I would apply into an acute care setting, I would definitely need to consider my fluid intelligence and problem solving skills, because I think that's definitely necessary anywhere that you work, but really in acute care settings. Um, I really liked the way that Miss Anderson, the moves that Miss Anderson showed us when pushing the IV pole. So it was kind of like a push IV, keep your hands on the patient, push IV, pull wheelchair is how it should be, one continuous move. That was really cool to see. And I could see how that would work, because of the wheels on the IV pole. I didn't get to try it, but I'm going to try it hopefully next week. Some things on the lab that I think that I did well. I was working with actually 2 partners this week. And so, of course, everybody's talking and sharing ideas, and we're trying to come together as a team. But I really try to stay present, try to stay focused on my safety, because I know I said that I wanted to work on that last week. Just talking to my team about how is this safe? How do we make this even safer for the patient and for ourselves? I think one thing that I did really well this week as well is I really try to do activity analysis of our intervention that we got. Just, continuously trying, okay, is that going to work? Let's try it, let's role play it, and so I really think that that's kind of it's sticking with me, that I can't, just say this will work and not have an actual analysis of that activity, because that's who we are, that's what OT does. So I think I did that well. Some of the things that I could have done better with the lab included, I was kind of, I not that I forgot all of them, but I did forget some of the hip precautions. And I know we worked on that so much last semester and the semester before that, just the precautions itself with the different approaches. So I'm definitely going to work on that. I need to work on that, maybe look up some videos and see the different approaches, the anterior and the, posterior, and really, instead of trying to memorize, because I want to make sure I understand why it's important that those precautions are adhered to with the different approaches. So today, I learned we hadn't done anything with total knee replacements, so we learned the basic do's and don'ts of total knee replacements, and how OT can help a client educate and train them on that, and how we want them to use that knee actively and naturally. So that was really cool. I really like that. Um, the next lab, I think I'm gonna try how to take a more, how can I say this? How to try to have my ideas heard more. Um, Especially when I'm working with a team, just to try to, maybe present my opinions, my ideas, and not be so quiet about that. Because I find that when I'm in a small group, I tend to kind of not shut down, of course, but I tend to kind of back down, and I feel like I want to share my ideas to see if they're good ideas, if they're evidence based ideas, if what I'm saying will work. Um, and so I think I'm going to try that next week, see how that goes. Um, I would be interested in learning, like I said, more about the different hip approaches, the replacements of the different approaches. And I think I want to try to get more information on acute care settings for CODAs, because when we went to the hospital, I didn't see any CODAs, and so I don't know if they had any at that hospital, because I didn't see any. And just to try to get more information about what it would look like, maybe not the first year, of course, but you know, later on in my career, because I think I'm very good working in a fast-paced environment. And so I think that's what I really liked about acute care, was the fast-paced environment. And in my past job experiences, I've thrived in those environments. And so I'm interested in learning how an OTA where she can work at in an acute care setting, what places might be available. And then I can definitely see myself using, of course, the basic do's and don'ts of total knee replacement, the hip precautions, of course, because I'm definitely interested in working with the elderly population. And of course, the cardiac precautions. I want to actually also look at maybe some videos on patients that have had a CABG procedure, and just kind of refresh my mind on that, because I remembered those precautions, and holding the heart pillow and all that good stuff. So that is my reflective journal for this week. I think I learned a lot going to the hospital. I was really impressed by the amount of teamwork in that setting, and what it requires, and how each person does their part to better serve the client. And I was only there for 3.5 hours, so that was really, really cool to see, because we've heard a bunch from you guys how you're working with PT and speech, but man, it was super eye-opening to see that they work together. I mean, they are one, they're one doing, trying to get that client to where they need to be, so they can either go home or move over, continue to where they need to be in the next step of their rehabilitation. So that was something that I'm really gonna keep with me, and how to be a more, continue to work on always team building and teamwork, and being someone who is able to articulate what she's thinking, and be able to articulate that in a more productive way when working in a small team, or with a team. I've always been a really good team player, but never been in a medical setting. So that's definitely something that I'm going to need to work on, and figure out how I fit, So that is my journal, and I can't wait to see you again next week. I'm going to do a video hopefully next week of some skills that I've learned. And so see you again next time. Bye.